Tahini banana bread is a mix of the nutty flavor of tahini with the sweet, moist texture of classic banana bread. I love how tahini adds a subtle earthiness that complements the bananas perfectly. Tahini is a paste made from ground sesame seeds. It's commonly used in Middle Eastern cooking but works surprisingly well in baked goods. This bread is easy to make and uses basic ingredients like ripe bananas, flour, sugar, and tahini. The tahini replaces some of the fat, which makes the bread moist without being greasy. Because the tahini brings a slightly savory note, this banana bread feels a little more sophisticated but still stays comforting. I like it plain or toasted with a bit of honey or jam. It's a tasty twist on a favorite snack. The ingredients contain overripe medium bananas, granulated sugar, unsalted butter, brown sugar, 2 eggs, tahini, salt, baking soda, and all-purpose flour. For the tahini glaze use, tahini, milk, powdered sugar, salt, and sesame seeds. First, preheat your oven to 350° F and grease a 9x 5-inch loaf pan to get it ready. This step helps the bread not stick. Next, mash the ripe bananas in a big bowl and mix in melted butter. Add both brown and white sugar, then stir everything well. After that, whisk in tahini and eggs until the mixture looks smooth. In another bowl, mix flour, baking soda, and salt. Gently fold the dry ingredients into the wet mixture, careful not to overmix. Then, pour the batter into the greased pan. Bake the bread for about 50 minutes, checking if a knife stuck in the middle comes out clean. When done, let it cool for 15 minutes in the pan. While the bread cools, make a quick tahini glaze. Heat the tahini, milk, sugar, and salt on medium and whisk until smooth and lump-free. Finally, pour the warm glaze over the bread and add some sesame seeds on top if you want extra crunch and flavor. I store the bread at room temperature for up to 3 days. I wrap it tightly in plastic wrap or use an airtight container to prevent it from drying out. If I want it to last longer, I keep it in the fridge for up to a week. I always wrap it well to stop it from absorbing other fridge odors and becoming crumbly. I like to enjoy this bread with a spread that complements its nutty flavor. Cream cheese or a drizzle of honey works great for a touch of sweetness. For drinks, I often reach for a cup of coffee or herbal tea. The warm, rich drink pairs well with the moist texture of the bread and enhances the tahini's depth. If you want a bit of crunch, try spreading some almond butter or peanut butter on a warm slice. It adds a nice contrast to the banana's softness. I also like to use it as a base for quick breakfasts. Topping it with Greek yogurt and a sprinkle of cinnamon makes a balanced start to the day. When sharing, I find slicing the bread thin helps everyone enjoy more bites. It's especially good toasted lightly for added crispness. If your bread turns out too dense, I suggest checking the amount of flour. Sometimes I add too much, which makes the bread heavy. Try measuring carefully and using a spoon to fluff the flour before scooping. When the bread feels dry or crumbly, it usually means I baked it too long or my bananas weren't ripe enough. Using very ripe bananas with brown spots adds moisture and flavor. I also set my timer a few minutes earlier to avoid overbaking. If the tahini flavor is too strong or bitter, I will reduce the amount slightly next time. Tahini varies in intensity, so tasting it before tossing it into the mix helps me adjust. Sometimes mixing tahini with a little honey softens its sharpness. To conclude, I find tahini banana bread a simple twist that adds a rich, nutty flavor to the classic recipe. It feels a bit more special without being complicated. This bread stays moist longer thanks to the tahini's natural oils. I often enjoy it toasted with a little honey or butter for an extra treat. If you want to experiment, try adding some cinnamon or chopped nuts. It's easy to adjust to your taste and mood. Making tahini banana bread has become one of my favorite ways to use ripe bananas. It feels cozy and nourishing every time I bake it. Give it a try. You might find it's a new staple in your baking rotation, just like it is in mine.